Round of 16 of the Champions League has officially ended, and I think we can all say that it has delivered, and it has delivered. That the amount of entertainment, the amount of drama, surprise result, shock result, crazy penalty shootouts, I think we can all say, yeah, we've been entertained over the past pretty much week. And in today's video, I want to talk about 5 things that we've learned from the round of 16. I'm not going to break down each game specifically. I'm just going to take talking points and, for me, the biggest takeaways from the round of 16. Of course, as always, don't forget to, of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and put down in the comments your own opinions, your own perceptions, what you made of the round of 16 and what your takeaways are. For me, the first takeaway is the game between Liverpool and Paris Saint-Germain, and I've got more than one takeaway from this specific game. And the first takeaway is that Mohamed Salah did not get any sort of help. The reason why I say this, listen, we can all say Mohamed Salah didn't deliver. And Mohamed Salah played disappointing for 2 legs. The first leg, Nuno Mendes pretty much kept him quiet. Let's be real, yeah. Both legs, Mohamed didn't really have the best of games. Of course, a 7.0, again, rating apps doesn't really take anything into account. But Mohamed hasn't really delivered, especially in the 2 legs. He gave us maybe, 20, 30 minutes in the second half of the second leg. But it wasn't to the performance to what we've been expecting from Mo Salah throughout this season. Mo Salah throughout the season has been consistent, has been stepping up whenever Liverpool needed him to step up. Contribute with goals, assists, being clutch, but these 2 performances got shut down and was non-existent and had no sort of influence to the game. The reason why I say he didn't get any sort of support, and I kind of feel bad for him, because this game in a way might have really not killed his chances but damaged his chances to win a potential Ballon d'Or. Now being knocked out from the round of 16, his chances are getting slimmer due to the fact, of course, Champions League is the main decider of the Ballon d'Or, and you've got other players that can potentially win it. The likes of Rafinha, the likes of Mbappe, Harry Kane, X, Y, and Z. The reason why I say I feel bad for him, throughout this season, he constantly stepped up whenever Liverpool needed him. Bro, he's been contributing for over 70 goals, 70 of Liverpool's goals, whether that's goals or assists. So every time Liverpool was waiting for Mo Salah delivered. Every time they wanted him to step up, he delivered, whether with a goal, an assist, a match performance, clutch performance. Every time they needed him, he was there. The one time he was asking for help, the one time he looked up and said, yo, can you help me? The place was nowhere to be seen. Luis Diaz, you can now see why it was a massive mistake for Liverpool not to sign a left winger. The likes of Kivicha was available this January. They just let him go. Now you see why they needed a striker. Darwin Núñez and Jota was non-existent. The midfield was tired, exhausted. You look at the back line, only Virgil van Dijk really and Alisson stepped up. So Mo Salah, for the first time this season, looked at his team for support. The team didn't really look at him and say, you know what, we got you, big boy. We got you, big man. We got you, big bro. Nothing. And that, for me, is disappointing, because due to that, his chances of Ballon d'Or is a roller coaster at the moment. The second thing that we learned is the other team, Paris Saint-Germain. And for me, you can argue this version and this team and what Luis Enrique has done. Massive credit to Luis Enrique, because this is the second thing that I've learned. I owe you an apology. I did not think that you were able to perform and to do this and to implement a strategy and a team that I see is a cohesion, it's a team, it's a community, it's a family. Like, after what I saw from you last season, and after the disappointment in terms of the failure to maybe put out a great start on 11, the failure to maybe rotate the team, the failure to find an identity, having Mbappe and failing to beat Dortmund last season. So I look at you with a great disappointment. But this season, what you've managed to do, specifically with the trio up front of Barcola, Doué and Dembele, and then Kivicha came in, and you've managed to integrate him very well, forming a midfield trio of Neves, Vitinha, Fabio Ruiz, who can literally control any sort of midfield, signing Pacho, and who's been absolute crucial for you, keeping Nuno Mendes healthy, keeping Hakimi consistent, making Donnarumma reliable and Marquinhos less as a liability and limited as a centre-back. You've done it well and the system has been working, but at the same time, you're playing great football. You're playing attacking football. You're playing intent. Look at the goals that they're scoring. Look at the performance which they're dropping. Like Luis Enrique has performed amazing this season, and I think deserves a lot of credit what he's done this season. And on top of that, he's made Paris Saint-Germain a team which people back in the day looked at as, bro, they would never win it. They would never buy the Champions League, because that was the plan. That was the plan with ever since the takeover. It was always they tried to buy it. It was Zlatan, with Cavani, with Lavezzi, with Pastore, and then it became Neymar, and then it became Mbappe, and then it became Messi, and so many players came in, so many players came out. The Champions League never was there. Now you look at them, they beat the best team in the world. They've got Aston Villa next. You never know what could happen. I look at Paris Saint-Germain as not only a dark horse, but a favourite for this year's tournament due to what Enrique has done to this team. So, bro, shout out you and shout out what you've done. The third thing that we learn, we take it away, and I want to talk about one person and one person only, and he plays for Barcelona, and his name is Pedri. I've spoken about Rafinha. I've spoken about Lamine Yamal. You guys know how much I rate Lamine Yamal. But I want to talk about Pedri. And the reason why I want to talk about Pedri is I find it weird. Listen, the Ballon d'Or at the moment, like I said earlier, is really up for grabs. I think anyone can win it. At the moment. A great Champions League campaign. Whoever wins the league. And then you've got the Club World Cup as well, which they will bear into mind because, of course, this is the first edition of it. So they would really want to highlight and demonstrate that they should take it seriously because there is some points to gain from it in terms of a Ballon d'Or points. I think, of course, Rafinha's there and Barca's been pushing three players over the season. It started with Leo when he started scoring goals, and Rafinha has had it pretty much for the past couple months. He's been consistent. Lamine Yamal's had it as well. But I find it strange, that Barcelona fans are not pushing a Pedri Ballon d'Or charge, a Pedri Ballon d'Or potential. I look at Barcelona, and I said it on Sky Sport pretty much last week when I was on. They asked me who's Barcelona's best player this season. I said it was Pedri. The most important player is Pedri. When you look at Barcelona, Pedri is the guy instrumental and influential in every single attack. You look at his GAs, it's low. Compare his GAs with Rafinha, who Rafinha is a GA machine. Compare his numbers with Lamine Yamal. Lamine, in terms of dribbles and assists, is higher. Compare his goals with Leo, nowhere near. But his importance to this team is greater than all three of them. It's greater than what you can imagine. Pedri is really Barcelona's midfield. When you look at him, not only going forward, but defensively, he leads the top 5 leagues with the most interceptions. He leads in top 3 in most possession won. And you would never think of him as a defensive-minded midfielder. But that's what he's done. That's what he's adapted himself into this season in that double pivot role, he's taken his game to another level. And going forward, he can dictate a midfield and the tempo of a game by himself greater than a lot of midfielders in today's world. There is so many players that can win in Ballon d'Or. And, of course, the Ballon d'Or will always come to the GAs. But you look at what Rodri did last season. Again, I don't think he deserved it, but he won it. You look at Luka Modric in 2018, but it helped winning the Champions League and winning, of course, reaching the final of a World Cup with Croatia. You look at Pedri, and I think if Pedri maintains what he's done, bro, he won back-to-back Man of the Match awards against Benfica. In both games, he didn't score, he didn't assist. But I think you could see his importance to that midfield. And I think the more he does it, the more match-winning performances, the more man-of-the-match awards. And if Barcelona, I don't think they will, but if they did somehow win the Champions League, and if they did somehow win the league, the person who I would personally nominate, Pedri should be one of the contenders. Because I think his importance needs to be highlighted. I think people know, but I think Barcelona fans need to be a bit more vocal about it, because they only push Rafinha and Lamine, and before it was Leo, not anymore, of course. But Pedri, he's got a good case, bro. I'm just being real here. The fourth thing that we learned is from this game, and I look at, this is not a criticism, I just look at Xabi Alonso, and this is mainly towards Xabi Alonso, and I'm looking at you with an interesting point of view. I mean, listen, when it comes to European football from last season, you struggled. There was games that you went through, but it wasn't convincing. The likes of Karabakh, the likes of West Ham, in the final you got beat 3-0. And then this year in the Champions League, the league phase, it wasn't that convincing. You dropped certain points. Of course, you beat the likes of Inter. You lost against Liverpool. You then beat... It wasn't the most convincing. Then you come to the run of 16. And you get a chance now to play against Bayern Munich, the same team that you had beaten, you're unbeaten against over the past 7 attempts. Since you've taken over, you've never lost against Bayern. You just beat them literally a couple months ago in the German Cup. So you've got experience in beating them. Yet, the habit which I'm seeing from you is very similar to what I saw with Pep early City days. Early City days that Pep used to overthink things. He used to complicate things. He used to maybe rotate, make the wrong pieces just because he thought it would work out. Maybe it would work out to a different game plan. That's what I'm seeing from you. I've been disappointed. And again, you are the front runner to, of course, become the manager of Real Madrid. But so far, you understand very well. Real Madrid, when it comes to European nights, they are better than any team in the world, ever. And when I look at you, you haven't really stepped up in the European nights. Again, this is not a recency bias. I'm not going to look at you and say, no, I don't want you. Very different. I still want you. But, hey, your track record is it's very questionable. I can't lie. I can't look at it and disregard it. I look at it and I'm saying, it's under microscope here. Like next season, if you were going to join Real Madrid, that needs to improve. Like I'm gonna take a very good eye on it. Like I'm gonna keep close, bro. I've got my eye on you, fam. Especially when it comes to European nights, because I see some questionable decisions. You're playing 6 defenders. You're playing Grimaldo and thing, and I know the second leg, Wirtz was still not there. But even the 11 they put forward wasn't convincing either. Like, it's a bit like the fact that you let, and again, that's no disrespect to Vincent Kompany. I think Kompany over the past month has done very, very well. I've watched Bayern a lot this season, and start of the season, Vincent Kompany didn't really have any sort of identity, had no approach, didn't know what he was doing in certain ways, and was just trying to basically ride the wave. But recently, over the past month, Stuttgart, Frankfurt, back-to-back wins now against Leverkusen. I look at Vincent Kompany. This is the first time I've seen a tactical approach, a tactical setup. The fact that you're getting now look at Xabi Alonso, what you did last season. The fact that you're letting a former Burnley manager, Vincent Kompany, tactically outclass you in 2 legs. That's all I'm saying. But then the last thing that we learned is, of course, the Real Madrid game. And the reason why I wanted to leave that to the end is because of one person and one person only, which yesterday I made it very clear in the match rating. I was going to be talking about him in a different video at length. And his name is, of course, Mr. Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. arguably played one of the worst performances I can remember in a very long time from a superstar. Like I look at it, it was bad in all departments of it. I can basically mention you so many bad things that I saw from you. The constant dribbles, which led to nothing. And when you lost the ball, there was no hunger and there was no commitment to win it back. The lack of tracking back at certain times. The misplaced passes. The final decision, the decision making into the final third. The penalty miss. I wasn't confident at all when you took it. The complaining. Like, yesterday performance, you added all of your bad habits into one. And you generated one of your worst displays I can remember of you. And again, I'm not going to be one of those fans to say, get him out, sell him, go to Saudi. Because I know, again, not every Madrid fan are saying this. There is some trolls that are saying it, from rival fans are saying it, just to make fun of him. And that's fine. I'm not going to I'm not going to take too much into it. But I look at some Madrid fans who are saying, get him out, he's not good enough, he's wasted, this and that, he nearly hurt. Listen, I have always said it, and I made a video about it a couple of weeks ago, asking what the hell is going on with Vinicius Jr. I've always said Vinicius Jr. deserves a pass. What he's done to Real Madrid over the past 5 years allows him a pass, allows him a bad week, a bad month, a bad game, a bad season. If he's got a bad season, I'm not gonna look at him differently. I'm not gonna look at him with the mindset of get him out. But one thing I will look at him, one thing that you guys have realized about me, and that's why some Madrid fans don't like me, because I'm too real with this team. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't spoon feed like those kind of players. I don't. If you play bad, I criticize. If you play well, I compliment you. I give you flowers. I give you praise. Vinicius Jr. 2025 has been appalling. Has been disgusting. Hasn't been good. It hasn't been good, especially from the guy who is the superstar, the guy who this is supposed to be his team. But so far, 3 months into this year, he hasn't given us any sort of reason why this should be his team. There's been no validation from anyone. I've been very disappointed. And I look at the game against Atleti, a game where we conceded 30 seconds into the game. You should be one of the leaders to tell the whole team, jump on my back and I'll take you to the victory. I'll take you to the finishing line. I saw nothing. On the other side, I saw someone who, what Karim Benzema said. You guys all remember what Karim Benzema said about Vinicius Jr.? That's what I saw last year. That's who I saw yesterday. Someone that I felt like was playing against us. Like, there wasn't a moment in this game that I felt like you actually did something well. Like, I saw you dribbling so many times, there was no need for you to dribble. And that's the reason why Jude literally was frustrated with your actions, because you were forcing it too much now. Like, it got to this stage where you were too busy trying to provoke yourself. You provoke the fans for your own ego and for your own satisfaction rather than saving the team. Like, what you did after the game, I don't care. What players do, the celebration, I don't care. I care what they do on the pitch for 90 minutes. And what you did for over, how many minutes you played? 115 minutes? What you did for 115 minutes was disappointing. Was absolutely pathetic. Honestly speaking, this is the worst. Mbappe has dropped bad performances. Bilbao, Liverpool, Barcelona, where he got caught 7 or 9 times offsides. This performance that I've seen from you yesterday was the worst performance of any Real Madrid player this season. And I'm not including Vasquez, Mendy. They do it constantly. But they don't have the expectations that I have on you. My expectation towards you are much greater than anyone else. My expectation towards you is what I've seen from you for the past 3 years. My bar is so high. You set a very high bar. So every performance you drop, I want you to meet that bar. Today's performance was so bad, it reminds me of your early days at Real Madrid. And you're not a 17, 18-year-old. You are 24 years old, bro. This needs to stop. This trying to provoke other people just for your own ego needs to stop. This season, we're still in the Champions League. The league is still there. The Cup of the Rey is still there. Stop this, bro. We're still in part of contention to win a treble. And I want to see June. because the Champions League final will be played in June at Allianz Arena. I want to be there. I want to be there. And the only way we can get there is by you. But you need to step the hell up. Because one thing that we learned yesterday, the final thing that we learned, was that you could have been the reason why we were knocked out. But fortunately for you, you've got a second chance now. The same way you've been giving us second chances over the past 3 years. So that's why you deserve a pass. But make it up against Arsenal. Make it up against Arsenal. Because Arsenal, I'm going to look at you now. We saved you. It's time for you to save us. But listen, that's my takeaways for the round of 16 in a very, very short manner, rather than going into detail and breaking each game down. I think the round of 16 delivered. I think there were some games that was completely meaningless. I think this game, I think everyone knew Aston Villa was going to qualify. Everyone knew Arsenal was going to, after beating 7-1. I predicted Dortmund to win, and they did. The Inter, everyone knew. I think the only Barcelona, I think everyone knew. I think the only shock results, in my opinion, that no one really expected was, first of all, this one. I think that's number one. No one expected this game to go to penalties. I think everyone had Madrid winning, but not in this fashion. And then this one, everyone had maybe Bayern winning, but not in a 5-0 fashion. Keeping a clean sheet for both games. But I hope you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And of course, comment your own thoughts about the game and what you made of any of the games. International duty is next week, but there's still going to be a lot of content coming your way. Specifically, I've got my top 30 Ballon d'Or nominations from 1 to 30th coming out next week during the international break. That is who I think deserve to win the Ballon d'Or from 1 to 30th as of right now. End of the season, it might change, but as of right now, that would be my top 30. That's out next week alongside the top 30 Haywan Dior. Hey, you guys will enjoy it. I'll see you tomorrow as well with another video. Peace.